Hey everybody, it's GauntletX and welcome back to another premiere draft of The Lord of the Rings, a flashback draft for this flashback draft season. So it is not a standard legal set, but it is a pretty fun, pretty interesting format with its own unique mechanics. Without further ado, let's just get back into more Tales of Middle-earth draft. We've got a decent rare here, the Balrog, Durin's Bane. It's a lot of mana, a 7 mana card, so you're not going to be able to afford it every single game, but when you do cast this thing, you get a 7/5 with haste that can't be blocked except by legendaries. Now, one thing to note is that the set does have a lot of legendaries, and your Ring Bearer is a legendary as well, so they will have blockers an okay amount of the time. But then also when the Balrog dies, you get to blow up any artifact or creature your opponent controls. So it's a really, really good 2-for-1. It's like a large enough creature, they're going to have to deal with it in some way. And then when they do, you get to clear something off their board as well. So the Balrog is very good. Pick number 2, we've got some really solid follow-ups to that. The Torment of Gollum and Relentless Rohirrim are both really good 4-mana creatures for a black-red deck. Torment being the Thoughtseize hand disruption, and Relentless Rohirrim being a way for that ring to tempt you. You know, the more cards you get where the ring tempts you, the better they're going to be. They give you some good card selection primarily once you've tempted the ring twice, and then they are a finisher if you've tempted it 4 times. So those are both really, really good cards. We could also take Bilbo here, which is a very, very powerful ring bearer. When Bilbo enters or leaves the battlefield, the ring tempts you, so you get to have the ring tempt you twice off of one spell, plus Bilbo's an excellent ring bearer. The very first part of the ring is that they can't be blocked except by creatures with greater, they can't be blocked by creatures with greater power, so a low power, high toughness creature is a very good ring bearer. Plus you get treasures every time. I think Bilbo's like strong enough to speculate on over the Torment and the Rohirrim, even though I don't love 3-color decks in this format. If we have some treasure producers like Bilbo, that's going to make it perfectly reasonable to like splash in a Balrog or something, so it's still possible these both go in the same deck. Pick number 3, ring temp stuff's always good, so Rohirrim Lancer's perfectly fine, and both of our spells are in red, so that does fit right in the middle of the 2 cards that we've taken. There's also Isolation and Orthanc, which is an okay removal spell. Deceive the Messenger is a fine little trick. Some fun cards. I'll go for the Lancer, though, and just stick in the middle here since all our cards are red. Pick number 4, Fiery Inscription and Gandalf are both excellent cards. Fiery Inscription, really fun for a blue-red spells deck. Certainly a way to try to end the game there. That is a very fun archetype. There's also Gandalf, which is an excellent card draw engine for any deck that is having the ring tempt you a lot. You do have to have another creature on board outside of Gandalf to draw the cards, but then you get to draw a card every time the ring tempts you, which can be absolutely absurd. I think these are both really, really excellent cards. But I kind of want to go for the Gandalf kind of card draw engine here, because I think Gandalf's like really, really good with a card like Bilbo. We've already got 2 ways for the ring to tempt us here, and all 3 of the spells we've taken so far are creatures and not non-creature spells, although it is still very, very early in the draft. We could just go for that all-on spells thing or inscription deck, which is a good one too, but I'm going to take the Gandalf here. Very good card. Card draw engine plus, you know, being able to do your sorceries at instant speed can do some nasty stuff too. Pick 5, the Pelargir Survivor has been pretty great in the set. It's a good ring bearer, and it's good at blocking ring bearers. And then it's fixing your mana for all of your instants and sorceries. Don't mind it at all. We could also take Lash of the Balrog here, get our first removal spell in, although currently only 1 black spell in the deck, so that might be off the splash. I'm just going to grab Pelargir Survivor. Pick number 6 now. Not super interested in anything in this pack. The Swarming of Moria is interesting if we do grab some cards that care about a bunch of instants and sorceries and get Spellslingery. Other than that, these creatures are tremendously filler. I mean, even Swarming of Moria is tremendously filler. We would really prefer not to play anything in this pack, but I'll grab a Swarming, I suppose. There is like an off chance that we get some really good payoffs that want a bunch of instants and sorceries in our grave. Take a Shire Terrace here that could splash for a Balrog if push comes to shove and we don't find better fixing. And we do want to splash. There's a chance that we just get enough strong playable spells in our main colors that we don't even need to play around with a 3rd color in the first place. Pick 8, Relentless Rohirrim. Nice and late here. I don't mind that at all. 4 mana, 4/3 plus the ring tempts you. Good deal. Super good with Gandalf yet again. Any creature that has the ring tempt you when it enters is like perfect with Gandalf, because then you know when the ring tempts you, you have a creature other than Gandalf to choose as your ring bearer. You could just choose Rohirrim. Pick 9. Dreadful as the Storm is a decent combat trick where the ring tempts you at instant speed as well, which is fun. Surrounded by Orcs can be fun if nobody else drafts it. That was one of the things we did in the early access event. One of the very first decks I ever drafted in the set was like 6 copies of Surrounded by Orcs, which just milled people out. Pretty fun. Probably going to get cut. I don't actually recommend it if you're strictly trying to win. But it is goofy. It is fun to toy around with it. So late in the pack like that when there's not much else, maybe get an opportunity to play around with it. All right. Pack 2, pick 1. What have we here? We have the Bath Song, which is just wonderful. Draw 4, discard 2, and then shuffle the best cards from your grave back into your library and get 2 of your mana back. This card is absurd. The 1 ring to rule them all, probably also incredible. Don't remember it though, because it's a rare. Ring tempts you, then everybody mills equals the ring bears power, and then you destroy all non-legends. Cool. So because the ring tempts you, you get to make your best creature a legend so that it survives the second chapter of this. There are a lot of legends in the set, and your opponent could have a ring bearer out though, so this is not the most consistent board wipe ever, and it's double black, which means it's not super splashable. I think I'm perfectly happy to just take a Bath Song here over that, but it does look like a solid card for sure, like if black was a core color. Pack 2, pick 2, a second copy of the Bath Song. Let's go. That card is wonderful. Storm of Saruman's a really, really cute, really fun mythic. The problem with a card like this in draft is that you're going to have to spend 6 mana to not affect the board in any way, so you have to be in a very stable position to cast this thing. Yes, after you're in that position, it'll probably win you the game, but well, I don't know. It really, really depends how your deck is built. But yeah, it's only good when you're already pretty safe. So there's a lot of situations where you do not want this in your hand, like if you're against anything aggressive. Plus, I guess the way that it might not win you the game after you cast it is if you don't have a lot of card draw in your deck, then you will cast that. You'll like double spell 1 time, and then you have to sit there and wait like 3 turns to have drawn 2 spells. That said, this deck does have a lot of card draw with 2 copies of the Bath Song here and some ring bears drawing and discarding. Could probably make okay use of it, but I'm still definitely taking the other spell over that. Pick 3, Foray of Orcs is excellent. Any creature that doubles as a removal spell is wonderful. So even if it's a 4 mana 2/2 that shoots something for 2, it's okay. And if we have any other amassing going on, then it's even better. Take a look at our mana curve here. Don't really think I want Surrounded by Orcs or Olaghai, Crusher, Knights of Dol Amroth. These are some of our weakest creatures. Maybe the Haradrim Spearmaster if we have room as well. Another weaker one. Pick 4. Treason of Isengard with a really good spell can be good. Like putting a Foray of Orcs back on top or something. Take a Treason of Isengard here. Sharky does not do anything in draft. 4 mana 2/4, that's it. Shuts off the abilities of lands. That's very obviously designed for constructed and not draft. Pick 5, another Swarming Moria, I suppose. It gives us more main deck treasures for the Balrog and some more armies for like Foray of Orcs. That could be okay. We could take the Nimrod here just to have some 2 mana cards because we do not have a lot right now. Not finding any more Pelargir Survivors, which would be the perfect one for this deck. Pick 7. 5th Lane Knots gives us something to do at 2 mana, I suppose. Just to scry 1 draw card. We do not need more 3 mana creatures right now, and Stern Scolding's pretty narrow. So let's grab a Knots here. Pick number 8. Nothing. Plop a stone in the sideboard. Pick number 9. I guess we can grab some 2 mana removal here, Breaking of the Fellowship. They have to have 2 creatures on board for this to work, and it's only going to kill the smaller of the 2 creatures, but it has the Ring Tempt You to make up for it, give you some extra value there. Fire Leaper would be okay too, but we'll grab the removal there. Another Surrounded by Orcs. Now we've got 2 copies. Maybe. What if I play a bunch of Surrounded by Orcs and treason it back on top to play it again? Could be fun. Could be a thing. I think Cast into the Fire is borderline main deckable in this set. There are a lot of 1/1 tokens, so sometimes it will be relevant, and then also, obviously, if they they play a great artifact. You've got that in there now. All right, we got Birthday Escape. We got Pelargir Survivor. Got another Treason of Isengard. I think the Survivor and the Birthday Escape are much better than that. Honestly, I think Birthday Escape's the best card here, but judging by our mana curve and what we're really lacking in this deck, another Pelargir Survivor is filling out a slot that we're really concerned about. So I'm going to grab Pelargir Survivor. Hoping to cut this Nimrod. Probably the cast into fire. Second Bilbo's wonderful. Obviously, the legend rule is not great, but it's just a very, very strong card. It is worth running 2 copies, even if we occasionally run into that legend rule. Rally at the Hornburg's a wonderful 2-drop as well. That would be kind of perfect at the 2-mana slot, but not going to take it over a Bilbo. I think Bilbo's super, super good. Should be an easy black splash. We'll just play a single swamp, and we've got a swamp, a terrace, and a bunch of treasure. Pick 3 now. Leechcraft is mediocre removal, but removal nonetheless. It doesn't shut off any of the creature's abilities, but it keeps it tapped. It doesn't work against the armies, because they'll just keep untapping. We could also just take a War Beast, which is a solid top-end card. Just a 5/4, masses Orcs 2 when it dies. Makes your cards like Rohirrim do the same thing. War Beast or Leechcraft look okay. I'll take a War Beast. Maybe we can wheel cards like Leechcraft. I accidentally cut my War Beast. Get back in there. Smite the Deathless is beautiful. Super efficient removal. It also exiles instead of putting it in the grave to shut off any of those death triggers. So that's very good. Arwen's Gift's good too. Deceive's good. Pretty solid spells in this pack, but we'll go for the Smite. Get cheap removal. Pick 5. Ooh, Gandalf's Sanction. That's a great, great, great one. We've got a decent instant sorcery count here for that. I think we have like 10. We've got 9 right now. This will be our 10th, but it doesn't count itself, I think. Deals X to a creature where X is the number of instant sorceries in your grave, and the excess damage goes straight to your opponent's face. That's a really, really, really fun removal spell that you can use as potentially a finisher with cards like Treason of Isengard or Bath Song to keep shuffling it back into your deck. So, love me a Gandalf Sanction. That's really good for like the Fiery Inscription all spells blue-red build, which isn't exactly what we're doing here. We're doing more of a ring-tempting blue-red build, but we still have a really high instant sorcery count, and it's still going to play very well. Take a Hithlane Knots here. The blue-black tutor is not very consistent because you have to have a creature on board to play it. Deceive the Messenger is a good one. Another creature we can put into our deck that counts as an instant or sorcery in our graveyard after we cast it. Arwen's Gift is a good draw spell. This is 23 non-land cards. This is pretty much the deck. Every time we take a card, we can cut a card. Another Treason of Isengard, when we've got Gandalf Sanction now, does look pretty exciting to me. I guess it's only really good when I specifically have drawn the Gandalf Sanction, and I have 2 Bath Song that can do semi-similar things while just working all the time, so maybe I shouldn't be on double Treason. I could cut one of these Swarming Amorias. We've got like double Bilbo too. For treasures, don't really need Wizard's Rockets. Yeah, we're doing so good on this Balrog mana. I don't think we need to worry about the extra treasures. I'll cut a Swarming here. I don't think we need another Dreadful as the Storm. 1 is fine. Oh yeah, I forgot we've got the Foray of Orcs as well. Yeah, having a Foray of Orcs and a Gandalf Sanction, there's a couple of really good cards for Treason. I think I'm fine with that. All right, this will be a fun one. Not the perfect Spellslinger blue-red deck and not the perfect ring-tempting blue-red deck, but a fun in-between here with a splash of a very fun rare. Looks like a sweet, sweet deck. We'll call it a deck here, hop in the gameplay. See how far this one can take us. All right, here we are on the draw for game number 1. We've got a reasonable hand here. Starting off with the Bilbo on 3 is going to be awesome. Gandalf Sanction the opener is a little funny. It is a very powerful card. It's nice to have it, but obviously a card you want to draw a little bit later when you've already cast some spells. But I'm still excited. I mean, everything in this hand is a really strong card. Except for like the Hithlane Knots, that's just going to be, you know, the setup. But it's good in a deck that has cards like Gandalf Sanction that want to get set up. Don't think I'm going to pick up this Survivor when I'm just going to be rolling out Bilbo next turn. It's not really going to fit into the mana curve. We go Bilbo into Foray, into Bath Song. Be a long time before we end up casting that. Sure, let's get Bilbo down here, have the Shire Terrace ready to get cracked for a swamp. Although we've got treasure tokens as well from Bilbo, most likely. They do have the Yorith of the Healing House, which can block Ring Bearers very well as a 4 toughness, 1 power card. So we can't really connect and get the treasure token until we've upgraded Bilbo to chapter 3. Well, chapter 3. Level 3 of the ring where they have to sack their blocker, or we just spend a removal spell on Yorith. The 4A is not quite big enough yet. But if we can amass 2 and then 4A, we can kill Yorith, or if they block and then we do a 3 damage 4A, that would work as well. So if we draw like Deceive or something like that. This is going to be some weird trick. Do I care if they kill Bilbo? I'll be a little bit sad, but the ring will tempt me again, so it's not the worst deal in the world, especially because they'll have to spend a card. Spend some kind of trick here. Then the Vanguard's dead and I have something to shoot with the 4A. I really don't mind it, actually. Especially because Bilbo can't get through Yorith anyway. We're already not going to be hitting them and getting any treasures from Bilbo. Okay, did not have the trick, just a bluff there. See if they could sneak some damage in for free, and they could not, so they're just going to draw some cards off of that. Untap their land, maybe we will get to attack with Bilbo. And we will. There's a Dreadful as the Storm. I could use that just to cash in and draw a card, discard a card here. I'd have to use it pre-combat though, and then they could chump block Bilbo if they want, but let me get the card draw going. Speaking of getting the card draw going, we could also just cast a Bath Song. I don't hate Foray here either. We've got a lot of options. If we play Dreadful as the Storm, we also have the mana for the Rohirrim Lancer. So we can still be mana efficient too. Wow, yeah, there's really a lot of things we could do here. I think I'm going to start drawing a card, discarding a card every turn. They do get a chump block here, but you know. Our Ring Bearer is too big. Ooh. Was just going to discard this Swarming, but on second thought with the 4A, that'll get us to a 4-power army to shoot something with. Yeah, the Ring Bearer is a fun mechanic because it incentivizes you to do kind of the opposite of what you usually do in most sets. You know, like sets like Theros and stuff where there were a bunch of like auras and it was about like making one really big creature, keep slapping things on it. Or, you know, other sets with like +1/+1 counter themes, you're like, make this bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. The Ring Bearer, you really want it to be like a 1-power creature. You want your small stuff to be like your most important card on the board, which is pretty unique to the set. I will take 2 damage. I don't think it's horrific to just trump block here just because the ring tempting is pretty good. But 2 damage is nothing. And if we keep the Lancer around, having the Lancer be a Ring Bearer makes it really hard to block. Menacing plus only blockable by 1 power or less creatures. Okay. Could cast a Swarming and a Sanction here, which I don't mind. They cannot block Bilbo profitably already, so we could just send Bilbo in first and see what happens. Sure. See if this changes what we draw. Or what we play. Treason of Isengard. Oof. 4A and then Treason it? Sure, then I'll discard the Swarming. We'll cast 4A this turn. Or do we cast Gandalf Sanction this turn? If I cast Gandalf Sanction, I can also crack the Shire. Sure. I guess Bath Song is kind of the win condition here, which does mean our deck's going to be really slow this game. Probably a lot of the games as well. The draw 4, discard 2, shuffle our best spells back in so that we know that we have the better deck in the long game. Just by having a lot more spells in our deck than our opponent who could flood out. And with 2 copies of Bath Songs, you can just keep shuffling each copy back into your deck, and you can just play for the mill plan. You can run these Bath Song control decks where you don't even have a win condition. You're just killing everything they play until they mill out. They've got 1 card left in their hand. They keep looking back and forth at our creatures here. Okay, Breaking of the Fellowship makes sense. Kill the Lancer, but that means Bilbo is now level 3 Ring Bearer. This is one of those weaknesses of Breaking of the Fellowship that I was talking about. It's pretty bad on this board, because the only creature they can kill with it has a good death trigger anyway. Our Bilbo is our best threat, and they could not kill our Bilbo here. So... But I mean, we're running a copy as well. Like, it's still worth running. That's just the risk that I was saying. Some board states it is not the greatest. War Beast. I guess I don't hate just chunking things up here. Sure, get rid of that land. Chongus. Just send in the Ring Bearer, draw a card, discard a card. Poke me for 2 because my War Beast is too big. We'll probably foray their Orc army so that they don't have a legendary creature on board anymore for their haunt. And they stop drawing and discarding. Their Ring Bearer's dead. Discard an Ambush, so they have 2 spells in hand here. I mean, 1 now. But they drew 2 spells. Oliphant is the spell. 6/4. Okay. I suppose if they want, they can trump Bilbo, but if I get the treasure, then I'm really happy, because then I can treason for a way to kill the Oliphant. Okay, I just need one of these Bath Songs, and I shuffle the other one in. Dang it. I was hoping they wouldn't block there because they don't have a legendary to reanimate that, because the treasure would have been so good to be able to treason this turn. But if they don't top deck removal, we can still just block the Oliphant with the War Beast and we'll be fine. It's just right now we're at risk of them top decking a removal spell. If we don't just cast a removal spell on the Oliphant quickly here. Down to 8. What was their draw? We may not know yet. Okay. On board, level 4ing the ring makes a lot of sense. Pre-combats to hit harder. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of 7 mana for Balrog. So if Bilbo hits one more time, that's the treasure we need to play Balrog next turn. What is the cost reduction? For each permanent sacrifice this turn. Oh, wow. I did not realize how good of a splash the Balrog is in this deck, because we've got 2 Bilbo. We've got a Swarming Moria. We've got a few different ways to get a treasure. Treasure tokens are really good at casting the Balrog, because each treasure you sack makes them cheaper. That's really cool. Well, there's the concession from our opponent. Either way, they were just top decking nothing that they needed, and we start things off 1-0 heading into game 2. All right, here we are on the draw for game number 2 with an excellent opening hand. That Pelargir Survivor get us started is always going to be good. Speed up our spells. The 3 toughness is great against the Vanguard too. Smite's a good draw if we wanted to just get that off the board and not even worry about it. That would be reasonable. Gain of your upkeep, exile unless you pay 2. Morgul Knife Wound is what they've played here. That's a bummer. We don't actually have that many spells in the hand, so I don't think it's crazy. Just let it die. I should have tapped the mountain there, actually. Alright, didn't matter. Because I had more mountains to play, so obviously holding an island up and then playing the mountain, that would be the better way to do it. Bath Song on the empty board, or just drop a Bilbo down? I think I want a Bath Song on the empty board. I feel like if I run out Bilbo, they're just going to kill him, which is okay, because then I've got a level 2 ring later. But still. Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about keeping Dreadful as the Storm as a trick to try to play around a red removal spell, but they're also a black deck. So if they play a removal spell that just says destroy target creature, I'm sitting there on my +5 whatever combat trick, that's not going to be good. Okay, discard a land. Drop a Bilbo, or do we want to just have a million cards here? Let's just go crazy. We're under no pressure on board. I'll keep a land. Make sure I'm playing a land every single turn. Torment of Golem. Doesn't really matter. Okay. I should have sequenced that differently, but that's okay. I'm gonna keep some instant sources engraved for like if we hit a sanction. Get rid of one of these knots. Gandalf. Bilbo to draw a card. Cool. Ready to shuffle my other Bath Song into the deck so that we can Bath Song while we Bath Song and Bath Song off of the Bath Song, as you do. Black, red, and white. The Plains has arrived for our opponent. Shadowfax is scary, lets them spit out a creature with less than 4 power for free each turn, tapped and attacking. We'll see what they've got here, but it does mean our Breaking the Fellowship is active now since they've got more creatures out. Hopefully whatever they plop down is just like a 2-2 or something I can block with Bilbo. Well, I guess they wouldn't play a 2-2 because then I could block with Gandalf and kill it. Yeah, they're just going to hit for 4, sure. Go to 16. Lash of the Balrog, kill the Gandalf, make sure we're not drawing any more cards. Off of that. Well, let's put Gandalf and a Bath Song back in, keep some instants in there. Okay. I don't want any of these instants or sorceries back on top. Guess we cast the Pelargir Survivor off of that extra mana. We'll knots the Shadowfax down. Scry a land to the bottom and draw a card. The Balrog, that's a good one. That's a finisher for sure. Protector of Gondor and its token cannot block the Balrog. There's the Gandalf's Sanction too. So we just go ham here. Boom, boom. Boom. And we can go Sanction 2 to kill everybody. And we can put Sanction back on top. With Treason. There's a Bath Song for us again. Get rid of the next Bilbo. I guess that lets them kill this Bilbo, but if they do that, they don't have removal for Balrog. Banshees and a Gandalf Sanction. Let's go. This deck is sick. We had so many strong options for how to play that turn. We could have just slammed down a Balrog. There's the Errand Rider of Gondor, but they don't have a legend on board anymore, so they will have to put a card back on the bottom to play it. Okay. Could actually double spell here. Thanks to the cost reduction. Alright, there's the concession from our opponent. So we do that. We sanction probably the 1/1. So we shoot them for another 5 with the excess damage. Then they can't block the Balrogs. They're at 12. They take a minimum of 7. Can't block Bilbo either. 7, 8. Trade there. They go to like 9 life. Yeah, they're not dead or anything, but it's a really good board for us. And we have the Bath Song to win the long game if they stick around. Beautiful, beautiful stuff from this deck so far, and we are 2-0 heading into game 3. All right, here we are on the draw for game number 3. I think that's 3 for 3 on the draw, but that's not too bad for this kind of deck. We have such a good late game. Having just the extra bit of card advantage can be okay for us. I'm not going to complain too much about the play draw differential here with this deck, unless we're against like a hyper aggressive strategy. All right, this hand is very good. Having the Swarming of Moria for the treasure token to play the Balrog a turn early is awesome. Balrog is basically a 6-drop. Not only is it playing it early, but it's making sure we have the black mana to cast it. So that's very good for this deck. The green-blue Scry deck, that is a little scary. They got the Arwen into the Elrond. Ooh, Breaking of the Fellowship was a very good draw here. So we can disrupt this combo. I think I have to kill Arwen here. Like, I really have to kill Arwen. Otherwise, that's going to get out of reach of all of my red removal spells, which is basically all of my removal spells, period. Get 1 point of damage in here since we're not blocking Elrond anyway. And apologies if you can hear the lawn work going on. Oh god, no. 2 copies of Arwen in the opening hand to keep the combo going. That is brutal. If we killed Elrond, maybe that was actually the right choice. Maybe they didn't have a second copy of Elrond in their hand. Lothlorien Lookout. Wow, that Arwen's going to be a nightmare. The Lothlorien Lookout scries every time it declares an attack. Puts more counters on the board with Arwen. Good grief. This is not good. I don't know how this deck really deals with beef. I guess we could try to trade the Balrog into one of them. And use its death trigger to blow up another card at the same time. Yeah, if we cast the Balrog and just hold it back as a blocker, I guess that's something. This is genuinely probably the most I've seen the green-blue deck pop off in this set, and I played it a lot the first time around. This is pretty gnarly. The double Arwen, certainly the roughest part of this, because we did have the interaction for the first one. We're already down to 5. Yeah, I mean, this is just not going anywhere. The Balrog does, in theory, slow them down a turn or two. Well, no, how does Glorfindel work? Okay, must be blocked. Glorfindel doesn't get to choose what creature blocks it, so they can't force the Balrog onto Glorfindel. That would be a problem if they could. I don't even know what we kill at this point. I mean, it's still Arwen, right? But they just scry to the top here, too. So Balrog block Glorfindel and blow up Arwen? I guess... Could kill Elrond and Arwen, because those are two of their cards that are actually scrying. But the Lookout also scries, the Celeborn also scries. Oh my god. So many triggers. I'm feeling triggered myself. I don't think I can survive 2 swings of stuff here, however I play it. I could block the Lookout without losing the Balrog, but I want to lose the Balrog here so that I can kill 2 creatures. I don't have enough power to double block with these onto something like Elrond, unfortunately. I think we're pretty dead. Gotta have 3 blockers up. Treason is a second. And the Hithlane is the third, I suppose. I'm gonna have to cast Treason just for a 2/2. I don't even think I'm putting a card on top because we need something better than what we have available. Yeah, I mean, redrawing one of those is just gonna get us killed, so just get a 2/2. And then I block all 3 by Hithlane Notzing one of them and trumping the other 2. Chance Met Elves. Basically another Arwen. It just puts the counters on itself. Lancer's not going to do it. I don't think we have any spells that'll do it at this point. Well, I could play another Knots here, so that I only lose 1 creature this turn. That is something. Land. Is the scry in the draw? And what is the top deck? 1 removal spell, not gonna do it, unfortunately. That is 2 and 1 heading into a game number 4. Just really tough to deal with those creatures once they've got a bunch of counters on them. Game 4, let's get back in there. No red sources. Awkward, but a Scry plus draw early. Bath Song off any lands. I'm gonna gamble on this one. We're also on the draw again, which will help. Give us 1 more draw step towards the red. Mushroom Watchdogs. This counters off their food. Pelargir Survivor is the red source for Smite the Deathless at the bare minimum. So we will run out the Survivor here first. If we draw land, we can play both Smite and the Knots next turn, which will be lovely. Did not draw land, but we can try to draw it off of Knots. So let's do it. Already got 1 Bath Song. I do not need another. Scry that to the bottom and draw, and still don't hit a land. Awkward. Still hold the Survivor back. If they don't play a food token, then they don't hit us for 2 damage. So that's why we hold back the Survivor. Playing against green, red, crack another Shire Terrace and find black. Junned us out. They've got their own smite for the survivor, sure. The survivor does not survive. Smite the deathless. Another draw, another missed land. Tragic. Run out of deceive instead of just straight discarding a card. Ah, the One Ring. You know, the 4 mana draw 10. So they draw 1 card this turn, then 2 next turn, that's 3 cards. Then the turn after that, they draw another 3, that's 6 cards. Turn after that, they draw 4, that's 10 cards drawn in like 4 turns. Pretty unbeatable unless you could cheese in some early damage and outrace the ping that it does to them, because they do have to lose life to keep it around. There's our land finally. Unfortunately, a few turns off. Tempted to Dreadful as the Storm here just to slap for some damage. Again, trying to like... Oh, I can't. They have protection from... I forgot to mention they also have protection from everything this turn. It's not just all the card draw. Okay, so we can't hit them at all anyway, so we may as well just pass. Holding up a smite or cast smite on Watchdogs immediately. I think I'd rather pass and hold up the smite, because then I could go block plus Dreadful as the Storm here. Which I think would also be reasonable. They are loading up another counter onto the rings. They're going to take 2 damage every turn now, which does make Dreadful as the Storm slightly more exciting as a way to maybe ping them, but let's just go for this regardless. They want to spend a removal spell here to counter it. That's chill. Card for a card, spend a removal spell to counter Dreadful as the Storm. Yep. Cast into the Fire, one of the few ways that you can blow up the One Ring main deck in this draft format, but it is a mythic rare, so you shouldn't be main decking a card just in case you run against that exact mythic. Let's just kill Gimli while they're tapped out. Pass. They have drawn 6 extra cards this game. They've even got Mount Doom. They have the Flavor Win. They can sacrifice the One Ring, throw it into Mount Doom. That's really cool. We're really cooked. Whenever land controls, if you don't control a ring bearer, the ring tempts you. Okay, so that's not going to do anything because they already do control a ring bearer. Show me a combat trick, except don't show me a combat trick. They have drawn 1,000,000 cards, so it would be surprising if they didn't have like removal, but hopefully it's sorcery speed. Nope. They've got instant speed removal. Take 6, go to 6. Ologhai Crusher. We really don't stand much of a chance either way, but our best chance is with multiple blockers. Draw 4 more cards. They have drawn 10 extra cards this game. That'll do it, right? Yeah, that's already lethal. Unfortunate. Somehow we could not beat 4 mana draw 10. That is 2-2 heading into game number 5. Here we are on the plate for game number 5. Very nice opening hand here. Both of our colors, it only needs 1 land to do everything, and if the Pelargir Survivor doesn't die, it can do everything without drawing a land, because we can play Swarming for the treasure to play the Bilbo. Mordor Mustard. Let's Bilbo it up. Am I really going to cast a Deceive the Messenger here? I don't think so. Let's poke for one. Could I actually use Bilbo to make the Survivor a Ring Bearer here? So that we could cast Arwen's Gift? That would have 2 legends on board then, Bilbo being a legendary and the Ring Bearer being a legend. Alright, we got a lot of creatures that are great at blocking Ring Bearers. So that is not going to do too well for them. I like treasure. Give me some, Bilbo. Thank you. Maybe some more? I'm just going to start filling our graveyard with some instants and sorceries for the Sanction. Hold off on Gift for another turn. Destroy target creature. If we have 4 more cards in hand, we have to discard them. Okay. Yep, we've got no response. Ring is level 2 now, though, so we can start drawing and discarding a card every turn. I actually could have made the Orc Army the Ring Bearer here because it's still smaller than Berserker. It still attacks him. Just kind of instinctually went for the 1 power creature, but this is a fine board state to Ring Bear up the 2 power creature. Hello. Alright, well, have fun with this one, opponent. You know what, just send in the team. Chump block the 7 power. And trade into the 2/2. Well, let's win that fight with a Deceive the Messenger. Keep our 2/2, which is now a 3/3 from the Amass. Protector of Gondor. 3/3 and a 1/1. Breaking of the Fellowship. Arwen's Gift. Land and a Knots. I don't mind him. Land lets us play Sanction here if we want. Certainly not necessary, though. We can just tap for now. See if they hit a better creature, and that fuels the Sanction even more. Another instant Engrave. Go to 5. Grima Worm Tongue and a Took Reaper. Just load up a bunch of blockers here. If we kill Grima, they cannot block the Balrog with anybody. So let's just sanction that away. That should be game. No legend on board means no blocker on board. Alright, well, we'll have to break into the Fellowship then. Ring-bearing Balrog. Let's go. That is game. That's 3-2 heading into game number 6. Alright, here we are on the draw for game number 6. We got a fine hand here. Smite the Deathless for their first threat. Lancer to poke in a little bit. And I guess a War Beast as the finisher. Played against blue, black, a very powerful archetype. I mean, blue-red is too. Smite this Vanguard, stop its death trigger. Uruk-hai Berserker, get that ring tempt going on. I don't hate a treason here. 2/2 to trade into the Berserker, and another Smite the Deathless is a good draw. Just clear out the Berserker. Torment of Golem, where the well, there goes the War Beast. Figure out their current ring bearer. Pass. I can't really go block Dreadful as the Storm when it's revealed like this, because then they could just respond with instant speed removal. Oh, are you serious? This is actually really obnoxious, because if I smite the 2/2 in response to that, then they get a new 2/2. If I Dreadful in response to that, I don't do anything with the Dreadful. Like, yeah, they just get to rip smite the Deathless. Or I kill the 2/2 and then they rip Dreadful as the Storm and still keep a different 2/2. Like, this is awful either way. I guess if they rip smite here, then they still can't attack with the 4/4 at least, since I have the Dreadful as the Storm up. Okay. Hit the Dreadful as the Storm. I could spend everything to kill this. I could block and smite. But then they have 2 cards in hand against my 0. I basically have to draw into something good like the Bath Song to have any chance here, because they 2-for-1 me twice with double Torment. Think I just take it. A land is definitely not something good. Go to 12. Hissing Knots is actually very good here. Another copy. Sure. Haunt of the Dead Marshes. Not a bad card to exile because it can keep coming back from grave. Otherwise, if they play any legends. Gandalf is pretty sweet. We draw any ways for the ring to tempt us. Bath Song is exactly the kind of card I'm looking for here. Instant speed removal on Gandalf is fine, because it's Bath Song time. Land. Yep. That's a thing. Probably chump and get a ring bearer now. Got 2 lands on the bottom. 1, 2, plus 6, so 8 drawn, 2 on the bottom, 10. So there are 7 lands in the top 20? About a third. Removal spell on Pelargir Survivor that also upgrades their rings. They can draw a card, discard a card every turn. Draw land. Draw Sanction and Gift. Pretty great. I don't have a swamp for this Shire Terrace anymore, but I can still thin a land out of the deck. Oh wait, no, I can't. If I use it, I do have a swamp. It's scried to the bottom. But I was also going to say if I use it, I'm actually shuffling a different land back upward. So my deck ends up being just as thick on mana as before, basically. Okay, I've got the mana to gift first and then sanction to hit slightly harder. Definitely draw Bilbo. Okay, now I really don't want to shuffle because I just put another land on the bottom. Yeah, I should have just taken a basic. I mean, I could draw the Balrog and then I would need to terrace into the swamp. Oh yeah, I'm literally going to shuffle with the Bath Song anyway. Anyway, what have I been on about? Definitely Sanction. Gift's a pretty good draw. Gandalf's a pretty good draw. The Knots, we just cycle through them immediately. Slow our opponent down. I'm cool with all those. Probably a Smite too, like against Survivor. Smite's good. Should have done that. Time to get the Bath Song loops going. Alright, shuffle in. New Bath Song. The Balrog. We get a treasure. I should not have tapped Shire Terrace. I'm really good at playing incorrectly with this Shire Terrace this game. Because we were already going to be doing shuffling and stuff anyway. If the ring tempts us one more time, we can get the treasure here. Okay, they're over it. Bath Song loops are too powerful. They don't want to sit here and watch me slowly take over this game. They don't know about the Balrog, so to them it's like, well, this is going to take like 10 turns, but these Bath Songs are just going to win the long run. So 4-2 it is, heading into game number 7. All right, here we are on the play for game number 7. Playing against a fellow blue player with Birthday Escape turn 1. We did not end up picking up any copies of that. Our opportunities to take them were really, really early. We took cards like Smite over them and stuff. Maybe a Bilbo at one point. Blue-black it is. They pass through on turn 2. We do not need the Lancer to be a ring bearer here. We're just going to put it on Bilbo. They could have the 1 in a blue counter a creature. That'd be sad. Glorious Gale. Luckily, they don't. Captain of Umbar. There's a Smite target. Didn't hit a land, so might as well Smite. Well, I mean, I guess they can't block at all, and we do get the treasure, so we could actually go for Gandalf instead, and then when we play the Rohirrim, we draw a card. It's actually better, and I could still Smite here if push comes to shove, and they do something where we really want to kill it. Like a Meneldor, I could Smite that, but I can also flash out Gandalf and then Smite that during my turn. Rohirrim draw a card or just smite away Meneldor? I can smite Meneldor and Treason back thanks to Bilbo. This seems pretty good. Saruman the White. Threatening when they start double spelling. I'll draw some cards here. Draw a card and also start drawing and discarding a card every turn. Okay, we can play a land and have Smite up still. Thanks to the treasure, although if I cash in the treasure, it means no Balrog next turn. I mean, I guess I could still Balrog next turn if I got another treasure. I could play it main phase 2, but obviously we want to play it main phase 1 to haste it in. They're probably going to double spell here and have some blockers up. Maybe not. That's a 5-mana spell. They need a 1-mana card alongside it. They don't have one. Let's go. Okay. Well, this could be really good for us. Never mind. I was going to say the knots could be really good for us, but not only do we not have enough mana to play anything other than the Balrog right now, but it also has wards, so we would need a ton of other mana to like tap down their one Balrog blocker. Boom, boom. They are down to 3. If Smite could shoot face, that would be it. Knights of Dol Amroth. Bewitching Leechcraft on the Balrog. Get more blockers, but they still cannot block our Ring Bearer. Because they have no 1-power creature, so they're on a 3-turn clock from Bilbo. There's Foray of Orcs. It's pretty strong here. I think I'm going to kill Saruman. Respond using the Patrol to draw a card out of him. That means Patrol's not up as a blocker, though, which means I can actually send Rohirrim in and trade another 3/3. I can also send the 4/4 in, since they don't have the 4/5 up. You know, let's send in the Lancer, too. I should have sent everybody in at that point. This might have been lethal if I sent everybody in, and I'm dumb. Bilbo's guaranteed to hit. So if I keep this land, I can play one of these 2 spells, but... yeah, I should have sent Gandalf in. We missed lethal? Or they would have had to block differently and been more chumpy. I guess they wouldn't take quite lethal. If they can't kill Bilbo, then I guess they're not quite dead because they have food to gain life now. Do you want to tap your Patrol and have no blockers up this turn? I think it's probably actually worth it for them because that's like the 3 damage that it's stopping is the 3 life they get from the food anyway. All right, there's the concession from our opponents. That is 5-2 now, meaning we are in the money out of our second draft of the Tales of Middle-earth return trip. Here we are now for game number 8. This deck has been going great. This draft has been going great. And this hand is no different. Get that Bath Song going to be way ahead on cards throughout this game. Pretty sweet stuff. And we're kind of curving out. We got a little Lancer here. We can play a Knots to set up some draws. We got a Bilbo going early. Our opponent Swamp Cycles their Troll of Khazad-dûm. Black-green it is. There's Woe's Pathfinder. Just go ahead and scry and draw. I don't mind another land. We're trying to get to 4 mana for Bath Song. Bilbo. This is suspicious. Deceive the Messenger should probably come in clutch here. This might be them trying to do the +1/+2 Death Touch trick. Okay, no, it's just a straight up removal spell. That's chillin'. Alright, level 2 Ring Bearing Bilbo. We do get our treasure. And here's a Bath Song. Draw a Hithlane Knots and a Swarming of Moria. What happens when they exile us? Ring tempts you. Decent. And they're just going to do that. Upgrade the Pathfinder. Have to target my Bilbo to kill the Pathfinder here. If we target the Pathfinder, then it is too low power to actually block. Okay, draw 2, discard 1. Drew the Swamp. Cool. Draw, discard again. Discard an island, get a treasure, play a Swarming for another treasure, hold up a Hithlane Knots for whatever creature they play. And we're going to shuffle some stuff back in. Honestly, there's nothing that good to shuffle back in, so we might just get the man off the Bath Song here. You know what? No, I'll play a Knots and I'll shuffle a Knots back in, because that's always just an immediate cycle. A Scry plus draw is always going to be a good draw. Boom, boom. The other cards I don't really want to redraw, though. Arwen's Gift off some of this extra mana. Get rid of 2 lands, draw 2. Gandalf's Sanction after I just shuffled some instants back in. This is the story of my life, but that's okay because they have literally nothing on their board, so we're still vibing. Discard an island now. We drew a Breaking of the Fellowship if they play 2 creatures. I think I have enough treasures here that if I have not played a land this turn, I'm still not going to play another. Start holding them to discard. Blue Source. Then a 6/5, okay. Okay, well, can't really do anything about the 6/5. Can draw and discard again. Find a Smite, which also can't really do anything about the 6/5. They play another creature, we're in a pretty great position, because then Breaking of the Fellowship is unlocked, where we can do that. That'll be the 4th instant or sorcery engraved for the Sanction, and then whenever we smite something, that'll be the 5th. Go to 14 life. They just pass through. Warbeast is not a bad draw. Another Bath Song is a great draw. I'll ditch a Bilbo here. Put them to 9, get another treasure. Cast a Bath Song. Draw 2. Wow, these are good. These are good cards. I'm actually going to ditch the Warbeast then at that point. Flash in a Gandalf and a Knots. Draw a Foray of Orcs, which is another great one. Ent's Fury. Sure. Level 3 ring-bearing army then. Oh, I was supposed to flash in Gandalf in response, because that's technically me choosing another creature as a ring bearer. Whoops. Missed one piece of card draw. Luckily, this deck has bajillions of pieces of card draw, so even though that was objectively a punt, it shouldn't pan out too poorly for us. Breaking the Fellowship when they're not playing more creatures. Just shove that in grave. If they don't have a response, Treason into Foray kills the Troll. It's very close to killing them. I need to do one more damage. There's actually probably a way to lethal with a Gandalf Sanction cast in the middle of that. Instead, put them to 1. Yeah, they should definitely be dead by now if we played this out perfectly, but our deck is so strong it just runs away with it anyway, and that is 6-2. We have made it all the way to the final battle of this draft. Whether we win or lose, this is going to be the last game of Magic for today, and this deck has played as much Magic as possible in a draft, which is some sweet, sweet stuff. We'll see how it all wraps up in the final battle. All right, here we are on the draw for the final game of Magic for today. Very reasonable opening hand. Double Pelargir Survivor, a Bilbo, and some really weak instants and sorceries, but basically any draw is a good draw for this hand. And we have the tools that we need to get the ring to level 2 to start drawing and discarding every turn, which is a big deal. Our opponent is Grixis, blue, red, and black, swamp cycling their Troll of Khazad-dûm. There's their own Bilbo, but their Bilbo's on the play. Okay. Here's our Bilbo. That's still our best play for the turn for sure. With 2 different 1/3s on our board, it should be somewhat difficult for our opponent to get in here and get their treasures. Although, Soothing of Smeagol did make them Ring Bear level 3. Plus the Smite. Gross. So they can draw a card, discard a card, get a treasure here. But yeah, Ring level 3 was already enough to get past our Bilbo. So they didn't even need the Smite there, but the Smite there made sure that we're not getting any cards or treasures of our own either. Very strong start for our opponent. We just find a land. Play Survivor and go for the knots here. Ooh, Mouth of Sauron was a sweet one. I have not seen that card in a while. Loved this card. This was a fun one. Mill yourself and get a giant army, usually, for the Grixis decks. Yep. Wow, hit 2 spells off the top, get the 5/5 there. Great mills for our opponent. Scry and draw, 5/4 is not going to help too much here. It's not going to stop Bilbo at all. They only need to amass 1 to get past that, too. Is it better than a blind draw? Like, second Breaking of the Fellowship, have the 5/5 kill the Bilbo, but then Mouth of Sauron's a level 4 Ring Bearer. I don't actually even know what we can draw here that's going to be too much better. Maybe we have to take the beast and just play it and have a solution to the 5/5 if they can't amass more. Yeah, we'll play it and pray. Certainly taking the Bilbo damage, though. Which means, again, their deck is just going to run really consistently. Oh, God. The Grishnak. It lets them amass 2 and then borrow a creature that has power toughness less than the army, and the army is a 7/7 after the Mouth of Sauron. They are absolutely popping off with Magical Christmas Land hand here, and unfortunately, it does not look like we are going to be getting out of this one with a trophy. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 damage if I kill a 1/1 here, and then there's just no shot I'm blocking enough creatures. Even if I chump here, take 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, go to 8 life against this many creatures. I don't think there is any way we can play it to win now. Play 2 blockers. I have 4 blockers, and 1/1/1 gets in. We die to a single removal spell. But that's the best we've got. Start forcing us into really bad blocks because even without removal, we have to just go chomp chomp now. I guess I could go to 1 off of the Bilbo, but I do have to chump the 7/7. Go chump and get a replacement. Treason of Isengard, put Fear Fire Foes on top to just wipe the board. Alright, yeah, we have no way to survive now. I can play a 5th blocker, but they just kill 1 blocker and we're dead with Fear Fire Foes. But I can't play a 5th blocker because my army is just getting amassed onto, so I still have 4 creatures. Like, yeah, I'm dead even if they don't draw any other spells. Unless we play Breaking instead. Then I have 4 blockers. They cast Fear Fire Foes. If they don't spend a bunch on X, I can Dreadful as the Storm in response. Like, if they just do X equals 3 on a Survivor, then I make it a 5 toughness card to counter that. But like, oh, alright, well. Their other card in hand was 2 1/1s with haste, so I would need 6 blockers, and they've got me. Alright, 6-3 it is. Still a really great record. I thought this was a very strong deck, a very fun one, definitely capable of a 7 winner. We certainly made some gameplay errors through most of these games, maybe a little bit of drafting errors as well. A little rusty on the set, but I think this was a sweet one. I'm really happy with the direction that we took it in. Double Bath Song was incredible. That card is awesome. Gandalf's Sanction, Foray of Orcs. A lot of premium uncommons in this deck is what really carries it. Like, we do have the one pretty fun splash rare, the Balrog, but I think what really made this deck shine and what was so strong about it was all of these really, really good uncommons and a lot of synergistic ways to use them. So it's pretty sweet, pretty fun deck. Don't hate it at all. Any massive underperformers? Not really. Everything kind of worked. Like, Treason of Isengard I was a little iffy on, and then it worked perfectly fine. I guess Dreadful as the Storm really never did a single thing, so I was not super happy with that card, but basically everybody else got to do something at some point. Breaking of the Fellowship was a little bit of an underperformer as well. But overall, great deck. Great draft. Great record. Not much else to say about it. Just doesn't quite get the trophy run. But that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for their support, as well as you for watching the video. If you enjoyed and are interested in seeing some more, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send you some more in your recommended feed. If you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. And other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.